What's going on YouTube? Thank you guys for rejoining. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I am back and I want to talk about forced medicine and how crazy it's getting. If people want to do what they want to do, if they want to shelter in place, wear a mask, 2 masks, get a vaccine, 2 vaccines, get one every year, that's on them. I'm not going to stop anybody. God bless you. But this forced medicine is getting absolutely insane. And I want to talk about it. And I also have 3 mainstream articles just so they don't call me a conspiracy theorist, because this stuff is wide out in the open and what they're doing is just not healthy. I don't care how much they threaten people. They're holding us for ransom. They're treating us like dirt. They want us to be a slave tier citizen. It's like, oh no, if you don't listen to us and you don't put what we want you to put inside your body, I mean, you're not going to be able to go to baseball games. You can't go to school. You can't travel. You can't do this. I'm not a slave. I'm not going to be a slave. I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be threatened. I'm not going to be pressured. I'm not bowing down to these people because I care about health. I care about cleanliness. And this is not healthy or clean. So first off, I just want to start as everyone's coming in. Thank you guys so much. This is CNN. You can see it on YouTube, so you can read it for yourself. On Facebook, I apologize. I know it's backwards because of the screen flip, but I'll read it for you. This is actually CNN, and it says, European leaders seized more power during the pandemic. Few have exit plans to hand it back. So this is CNN. Keep in mind, you know, the most trustworthy ever. I mean, Don Lemon, if you don't trust Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper, who do you trust? But, European leaders seized more power during the pandemic. Few have an exit plan to hand it back. It's interesting. The reason I point that out is because I've been saying that for a year, because it's not my opinion. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not this kooky right-wing thing. It's like clear that the government is taking more power in America, in blue states, in red states, in Canada, in Europe. They have used this pandemic to take more power. You could argue it's justified. You could say that it's not justified. I don't think it is, but there's an argument to be had. But there isn't really a debate about whether they took power or not. It's a fact. And I got smeared as a conspiracy theorist by NPR. By the way, stupid writer. I can't believe any taxes go towards that organization at all. I don't know what the deal is, but they're smearing me as a conspiracy theorist because I was #1 on Facebook with my J&J post. And now, of course, CNN shares it. So it's like, oh, I'm so crazy for saying it until you morons at your news organizations figure it out. And then all of a sudden you're allowed to write about it. But when I say it a year in advance, then it's a conspiracy theory. Notice something. They said the death rate, the World Health Organization said in last March, the death rate is 3.4. And I said it wasn't. And they were looking at me like, you can't disagree with us. I was right. They were wrong. It seems to be a little bit of a trend. It seems like they're wrong pretty often. For experts, they don't seem to be an expert on anything. Masks have been around and technology has been around for 100 years. And all of a sudden they flip-flop 4 different times within a year. It's a little odd, but I want to tell a story real quick, a personal story. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll share some links at the end. But when I grew up, they tried to put me on pills. Okay, so I have a personal story. I have a personal health story, mental health, physical health, but also growing up, I was always tired in school. First of all, I'm very creative. I like to make music. I love to play sports. I'm an entrepreneur. I do good in the real world, but I did bad in school. I got bad grades. I got detentions. I didn't pay attention. I was falling asleep. But I'm thinking about it now, and I was eating sugar in the morning. I was eating Fruity Pebbles. Why was I eating Fruity Pebbles? Because they marketed it to me. The FDA approved, I guess, that cereal. I don't know if that's approved or not, but they're selling it in stores. And I love cartoons, and I like Fred Flintstone. So they're like, you like cartoons, so you should eat this sugary cereal. Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper times, eat Captain Crunch, eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm just eating sugar in the morning. Now, as an adult, if I eat that much sugar, I'm tired as well because it's not healthy to eat that much sugar. I learned that. Unfortunately, it took a long time. But when I was a kid, that's what they told my parents, and everybody's busy working, giving their kids sugar. So I'm falling asleep. They never told me to stop eating sugar in the morning. What they told me was, you need a pill. You have ADD. You need Adderall. Thank God my mom stepped in to tell them no, because I've taken Adderall in college, and it's way too strong to give to most kids. I think they're over prescribing it. Talk to your doctor. This is not medical advice. But me personally, I never needed the pill. I needed to stop eating sugar, and I needed a topic that was interesting to me, like music or sports, or that's what I liked. And that's still what I like. I don't like what they want me to learn, and I do just fine in the real world. But, this is a trend that I see, is that they don't really care about health. If you look at the pandemic, I don't have the printouts, but the data's in as far as most hospitalizations are obesity, and most of the deaths are in obese countries, obviously, because if my body is fit, all my organs, all my bodily functions, it's easier for it to move. I just want to show you real quick. These are 20-pound weights. This is heavy. 20 pounds is pretty heavy for an average person to hold. This is 40 pounds. 40 pounds is really heavy. If you're 40 pounds overweight or 60-pound overweight, you're carrying this much in fat. This is a workout for me. You're carrying this much in fat, so all that's weighing in on your body. And me too. If I have a 20-pound thing in my stomach, that's why my back hurts. So, this is what they don't tell people. It's like there's a reason that most of the hospitalizations for COVID were obese, is because when you're obese, you're putting so much extra pressure and weight all over your body, and it's going to hurt everything. I mean, it's going to put you at a higher risk for diabetes. If you get any disease, whether it be pneumonia, flu, COVID, you're at a higher risk for hospitalization because you're overweight. And that's not me being mean. That's just real health. I'm trying to lose weight now. I know I don't look fat or anything. I look pretty in shape, but I have a little bit of a gut. I want to get rid of it. And the more I get rid of, my back feels better. But the point I'm getting to is they never tell you any of this stuff. They never told me when I was a kid to stop eating sugar. They tell me to eat more sugar. So here's what I have just to kind of put together my argument with left-wing mainstream media. This is Salon. I'm not sure why they chose Michelle Obama as a picture, but this is Salon, a left-wing newspaper. The FDA's phony nutrition science. How big food and big agriculture trumps real science and why the government allows it. So our entire food history in my lifetime, and my entire food and drug history in my lifetime, time and time again, I've seen the government, I've seen the FDA, and I've seen these corporations either lie to us or just push certain foods, sugar, bread, things that as an adult, now that I'm healthier, I'm stronger, I'm mentally healthier than I've ever been. I don't want to eat that much bread and I don't want to eat that much sugar. I mean, I'm a human, I eat it. I'm not that good on a diet, but I have cut out sugar this last week for the first time in my life and I feel good. But it's always been a jump off. Why did they make the food pyramid the way that they said? This whole article is about that. And they're saying that there were big money interests getting involved in creating this idea that it was healthy to eat a lot of sugar and bread. I'm just going to read. This is Salon, by the way, just because I know there's Facebook fact checkers. They're like, fact check, it's healthy to wear a mask. Fact check, there's nothing bad about wearing a mask. It's totally safe and effective. It's like, no, dummy. Even if it blocks some droplets, there are mental and psychological effects to it. Duh. These people are so evil. I hope if you're one of these Facebook fact checkers and you're watching me because I have a big page, we have 2,000 people live here. Sometimes we have 3, whatever. I hope you see this and you feel shame for being such a disgusted, wicked person. It's like there are pros and cons to everything. So the fact you're trying to censor anybody crying out for help with anxiety or fear or these kids getting screamed at, just wait till my next video tomorrow. I have a hit that's going to go viral. You should be ashamed of yourself. But the FDA's phony nutrition science, how big food and agriculture trumps real science, right from this article, I guess it's 2015. It says, lie, the U.S. Department of Agriculture's know what should be on your plate. You should know by now that sugar has been pumped into the food chain for over the last 50 years, especially in the form of high fructose corn syrup. As a result, there's been a dramatic increase in a whole range of illnesses that manifest in different parts of your bodies, depending on your own genetic profile. And all of them are caused by the same underlying impact of inflammation from sugar and the resulting nerve damage and compression. Medical professionals can be blinded by the bias of their specialties and miss the important connections linking these seemingly unrelated conditions. But like us, they're hampered by the information linked to partnership between the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the big agri complex. So like with anything, there's a big agriculture complex, there's a big pharma complex, there's big government complex. How come when you look at Congress, when I look at Rochelle Walensky, who tweeted out, the science is clear. She's the new CDC director. Total psychopath, by the way. I mean, God bless you, Rochelle. Hopefully you don't see this because I don't want you to hate me. But, eyes are bugging out, impending doom. I mean, I don't know if this is science or this is bureaucratic, how many times did you have to sell your soul to get to this position? Because I don't see that much health and science here. But she says the science is clear. If you're vaccinated against COVID-19, you are safe. The vaccines work. You can take off your mask and not be at risk for severe disease or hospitalization. If you are not vaccinated, you are not safe. Please get vaccinated or continue to wear a mask. First of all, even if you're going to talk about COVID-19, this is how I know these people are wicked and just totally dishonest. even if we're talking about COVID-19, the message should be, hey, you're protected from this. You're good. Take off your mask. However, there's still going to be other diseases out there. There's flu. Well, apparently there's no more flu anymore. Interesting. But, there's pneumonia. There's this, there's that. There's diabetes. You're not like completely safe. Okay, you got a Moderna and a Pfizer mRNA shot, or you got a Johnson & Johnson shot. That's not the only thing going on in the world. There's still all these other illnesses. And like I was reading out of, the Salon article, a lot of them are linked to bad diet and exercise, because America is a country that's way too overweight, thanks to these phony corporations, businesses, and big, big pharma jump offs. And also, I would say, I'm trying to think of the right word, but I guess the opioid crisis and the fact that we're around 5% of the world taking 80% of the opioids. When I checked in the CNBC article of 2016, 80% of the world's opioids are being used in the US. We're way too jacked up on pills. It's nice, if you need one or two, but it seems like here, people like Rochelle Walensky, the media, celebrities, both parties, it seems like there's no emphasis on health, because a healthy person that's fit is not going to want to run to whatever they tell you to do. And that's why they hate real health. They don't want you to be healthy. They want you to be as unhealthy as possible. Mentally abused is like their number one customer. People who are isolating, out of shape, haven't seen their family, just mentally psychotic, gained 30 pounds through the pandemic, freaking out because they love Joe Biden, looking for direction when they could take their mask off. And as soon as they can take their mask off, Rochelle Walensky says, hey, you can take your mask off. Now you got the vaccine. They're freaking out because they're so mentally abused. And I'm not saying this to be mean. They are literally been mentally abused to the point where they don't want to take their masks off because they're afraid of seeming like a Republican. You brainwash them into thinking that breathing air without like cloth over your face is a partisan issue. What? It makes you an anti-masker? What does that even mean? It just means that at a certain point, you can breathe air again. Unless you want to live the rest of your life in a mask, that's on you. I'm not going to stop you, but I feel like you're going to hurt yourself at a certain point. It's not mentally healthy to live that way. But that's what they're doing to people. So I'm not going to bow down to these forced injections that they're doing. I don't care what they claim to take away from me. Trader Joe's, Walmart, Yankees. I mean, these are sick people. They're trying to create a segregated society for the vaccinated and unvaccinated. But by the way, using word games where most people are vaccinated. Not everybody got the COVID-19 vaccine. Where does this end? Like, what does that even mean? So now I'm a slave to your citizen. I'm not allowed to go anywhere, but you could be morbidly obese, 350 pounds, at risk for 17 different diseases, have 5 comorbidities, and you're healthy now because Rochelle Walensky said you're healthy. You're not healthy. You're just a great customer. You're a great big pharma customer. You're the perfect customer. Just healthy enough to stay alive, just healthy enough to keep taking the pills and injections when they tell you to, but not healthy enough to realize that you don't actually need that if you're healthy. This last month, I've been dieting. My back feels better than it's felt in 3 years. I've been trying to get rid of, I've never been fat, but like I'm trying to get, I like to play soccer, basketball, competitive. I'm very competitive when it comes to sports. I'm trying to get in Olympic athlete shape, not to brag, but it's like, I feel better. My back hurts. I sit down all the time. I'm always on my phone. I work off my computer. It's cool, but I'm 31 now. So by the time I'm 40, if my neck's messed up, everybody knows that doesn't heal as you get older. You can't heal like you were when you were a kid. So when they isolate the elderly and you have 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds who were walking every day, who are smiling every day, who are seeing their friends every day, who'd go to the hair salon and get their hair did, and now you take all that away from the elderly, do you think you made the elderly healthier by isolating them? No, of course not. Science says you didn't. Common sense says you didn't. There's real effects, not just mentally and psychologically, but physically. When the elderly can't move and they can't do things, their bodies wear down even more than your kids. And I'm supposed to not say this on Facebook because I might get censored or deleted, or they're trying to fact check stuff. Oh, just wait till my video tomorrow. My buddy Tito Ortiz, great man, legendary UFC fighter, one of the best ever, and also Huntington Beach Council. They fact checked an event today that I went to, and I got fantastic footage. Just wait till my video tomorrow. It's going to be a smash. They fact checked a mask protest because mothers and parents are saying, hey, we want our kids to not have to be forced in masks. they should absolutely be allowed to feel that way, because obviously and they're getting fact checked for the event. Fact check, this is really safe and effective. It's great. There's pros and cons. So we're creating a slave tier society where you can't speak out about cloth over your face. You can't speak out about the fact that they're trying to threaten and pressure people in rural areas to get the injection, or they're not going to be allowed in Walmart. And in rural areas, that's really one of the only places to shop. If you live in New York City, oh, who cares? I don't need to go to Walmart. But, I would say a high percentage of Walmart customers are, small areas where Walmart really dominates the retail. And they're trying to threaten you that you can't go. This is so far beyond healthy. This is so far beyond fair. I will never bow down to this. And I hope enough people realize that 15 days to slow the spread has now turned into a year and almost a half later, a year and a couple months later, they are now saying, get our injection, despite the fact, just to be quite fair. And I'm just going to read some of this stuff because, listen, I don't care what people do with their body, but this idea that there's never been any corruption or there's ever been any mistreatments in the pharmacy industry is just not accurate. And I pray that this is all great. I'm not saying anything, but I have this printed out real quick. It's a few things. I'll let you read it here on YouTube. I mean, it's The Guardian. You can see that on Facebook. This is, The Guardian, very trusted news from 2003. It says Bayer division knowingly sold HIV-infected protein. A division of the German pharmaceutical company Bayer knowingly sold blood clotting agents infected with HIV to Asia and Latin America months after withdrawing them from the Europe and the US, an American newspaper claimed yesterday. So there are reports, this was on mainstream news, that Bayer apparently knew that they had HIV-infected blood clotting agents, and they were like, let's just sell it. Let's just make money. Okay, that's cool, but imagine if they could force you to do something. Yeah, I'll pass. This is another one I have under here. I don't know if you guys can see it on YouTube, but I'm just going to read it. These are two articles. This is Reuters from 2012. Pfizer settles foreign bribery case with the U.S. government. Pfizer settled out and agreed to pay $60.2 million to settle a U.S. government probe. Washington Post. Pfizer agrees to pay $60 million to settle foreign bribery case. So if you talk about this industry, you have Moderna, which, by the way, is owned, a part of Moderna is owned by the NIH. If you Google NIH Moderna ownership, you'll find out that the NIH has joint ownership over it. So if you want to talk about a conflict of interest, the government, the National Institute of Health, actually owns part of Moderna. Bill Gates, who has been all over this, has been backing Moderna for years before they had their first product on the market. Their stock's through the roof. And Donald Trump purchased Moderna before they were even approved for emergency use authorization. So they have all the incentive under the sun once they buy it, once they invest in it, once they own it. Yeah, I get that they want people to do it, and that's awesome. I hope it's great, and I hope people have a fantastic time, and I hope that synthetic mRNA feels good in them, and it gets through and builds a spike protein, and they just have a great day. I'll pray for people like Chelsea Handler, who's complaining that she can't hear out of one ear. I got my second dose and I can't hear out of one ear. Everybody's complaining about being sick. Yeah, I'll pass. I haven't been sick in 3 years. If you want to do that, I'm not going to stop you. I hope it really is a breakthrough illness that just makes you so strong against COVID. But I've never felt that way in my recent years. Like, I don't know the last time I've been that sick. I can't hear my ear. I'm sick. Isn't that the whole reason we're trying to prevent? Well, yeah, I don't want to get COVID-19. I don't want to get sick. So I'm just going to get this and get sick and I can't hear. It's like, if that's what you think health is, Chelsea Handler's a mess. No offense, but half the time, she's calling people white supremacy, blah, blah, blah. Trump's such a blah, blah, blah. The other half the time she's crying. I'm reading an Ancestry.com article. She's trying to come to terms with her ancestry because she's like part Jewish and part Nazi. So she's like, she's like, on one hand, she's Jewish. And the other hand, she has Nazi family and she's trying to come to terms with that. She's always complaining about like, her mental health and stuff, and God bless her. But like, to me, I think I'm healthier than her. It's not a competition, but it's like, just because someone like Chelsea Handler gets a, injection in her arm, does that mean she just like turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight and she's like super healthy? I don't know that that's how it works, but if you think it does, that's fine. But the point I'm getting to is these companies from Moderna, there's some incentive there with Pfizer. I just read to you that Pfizer within the last, decade settled out with $60 million in a foreign bribery case Johnson & Johnson this last couple of years has been in court for a baby powder lawsuit where people are claiming that there was asbestos in their baby powder and they knew about it. And when I say people are claiming that, I'm not talking conspiracy theorists far right. I'm talking Reuters. That's a Reuters article. If you Reuters, Google Johnson & Johnson, Reuters, baby powder, you have a whole Reuters, which is, I would say, mainstream, bipartisan, left-wing, really. But so this is like all out there in the open. And all I'm doing is putting the pieces together where, they don't have liability for this. So there's no Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer. They've struck a deal with the government, usually through the NCVIA, but this one I believe is through the PrEP Act, where if something does happen to you and you do have a serious side effect or injury, they know it happens. You could watch an interview of Bill Gates and he says, listen, we need indemnification, which by the way means compensation for harm or loss. We need indemnification because if we give this to 1 billion people and 1% or whatever get hurt, that's a couple 100,000 people. So we need to protect ourselves. They're protected. They know how to, pass laws. So if you get hurt, we're not responsible. Wolanski's not going to pay out of her pocket. Trump's not going to pay out of his pocket. Biden's not going to pay out of his pocket. Pfizer's not going to pay out of their pocket. They're good. They have no liability. You're going to have to try to get a deal with the government, and it's not easy to do. So I don't think you should be able to force something on me that none of these people have liability for. But in general, I've made this argument before, but everybody's different. They have indemnification and they have immunity from liability for themselves because they know how it works. Everybody can't eat almonds. Almonds are healthy, but if some people eat almonds, they have an allergic reaction. And it's the same people if the elderly get 2 doses versus someone who's 11 and 12, depending on their genetics, depending on their, everybody's different. There is no one size fits all approach in medicine, I don't believe. Besides, I think drinking water is very healthy, and there's certain, it's better to be fit than super obese. Like these are things that everybody can do. But as far as medicine being forced, and now I have to be a slave to your citizen, are you kidding me? When the FDA, you have Salon articles talking about how they've lied before about the food pyramid and, they're just jacking people up with sugar, jacking people up with high fructose corn syrup, jacking people up with McDonald's and putting vaccine on the coffee, jacking people up with fast food, all this sort of fake food. Not real meat and all this stuff that weighs on your body. Now we have a country that is on so many pills. Now we have a country, did you know in the last few years, life expectancy went backwards for the first time? Everybody's dream is to give their kids and grandkids a better life than they have. My parents always told me that. I want to give you a better life than I have. And my parents succeeded. They did a great job, and I'm very grateful for everything they did. And I'm living fantastically. I've worked very hard, and I'm reaping the benefits. But, that's every parent's dream. Give your kids a better life than you had. For the first time in history, life expectancy is going backwards. And you can look, even the government and even a lot of these agencies will admit it's because of, the opioid crisis and people dying younger because of opioids and drugs and also mental health. This is all like mainstream knowledge. So they know why people are dying. They know what one of the biggest killers of the youth is. It's the drugs. Of course, car accidents, I think, might be number one or whatever. But drugs, opioids, fentanyl, prescriptions, being addicted to these pills, but they just keep pumping. They don't give a crap. They don't care. Recently, I read an executive got caught making fun of people in emails, calling them pillbillies, ha, 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 ha. We're farm execs, ha, ha, ha. All these people are dying on pills, ha, ha, ha. That's what they think of you. They don't care. And people really are this dumb. You can convince a whole sect of the population that it's healthy to abuse your elders, abuse your children, isolate them. I'm going to say this one more time. I don't mean to be repetitive, but I don't care if you're left wing or right wing. If you're playing a partisan game with your grandparents, your grandparents need to see smiles. Your grandparents need to see you. Your grandparents need to see other old people. Your grandparents need to walk. Your grandparents need to exercise. Your grandparents need to have a day out and go to the hair salon without being yelled at for a mask. If you take this away, you're not making them healthier. You're making them less healthy. Their bones are becoming more brittle. So many stories of people who could walk, they can't walk anymore because you can't treat 80-year-olds like that. And I'm so sick, and then I'm going to move on, of these liberals that lied for the last year, and I knew they were lying, but they outed themselves. David Hogg, including that phony, he's like, I don't want to seem like a Republican. they told you for a year that it was all about science. It was all about the experts and the CDC and the FDA. We trust the Fauci. And then as soon as all these people tell them to take their mask off, the truth comes out. These liars finally admit the truth. It's like I'm not going to call them literal demons, but it's like at a certain point, a demon, you shine light on it, it just melts and it'll just tell you the truth. And then they're like, okay, fine. It had nothing to do with science. I just don't want to look like a Republican. I'll keep it on for 3 years despite nobody telling me to, because it's my new personality. My new personality is I'm fighting Trump with my mask on. It's like, so you never cared about the science. You never cared about the data. That became clear to me when I started looking at the data, because if you look at Texas, what's his name? Abbott tweeted yesterday that apparently for the first time they had no COVID deaths in a day. You could look at all the data for masked countries, unmasked countries, masked states, unmasked states. Florida and Texas for weeks have been debunking this lie that it's really healthy and really safe and really ramps the spread. I mean, do you guys not know how air works? Do you guys not know how if you have something that's dirty and children have it for 8 hours and it's getting all sweaty and dirty and you force them to wear it just to virtue signal that they're not Republican, that can actually be worse? It could actually hurt them more than it help. It's insane to me that people are this dumb, but I can't speak on others. What I can say is myself. To me, being healthy means working out, trying to get fit, losing the fat on my body so my organs and my muscles and my bones aren't being weighed down. And, I've had points in my life where I was unhealthy. I was too skinny. I was bent over. I was too chubby. That's what health means to me. Cutting out the sugar that the FDA with their phony nutrition science just pumped into our society, high fructose corn syrup. At a certain point, regulations were for people. That's what they're supposed to be. We're going to regulate corporations because we want the people to thrive. At a certain point, lobbyists got involved in every industry. Lobbyists. So now when politicians pass regulations, they're not passing regulations for you. They're passing regulations for the big corporations to keep screwing you over. And this is the result. If our experts in our Congress, people like Pelosi and Schumer and Wolanski, shouldn't they look like fit Instagrammers? Shouldn't they look like workout Instagrammers? These people know health. How come very few people in Congress look really healthy? There's a few people. Tulsi Gabbard looks healthy, a few of them. But, you look at Congress, it's not the most healthy people I've ever seen, but they're telling us how to live our lives. You know why they look unhealthy? You know why Nancy Pelosi looks strung out? It's because in order to get to her position, she sold out America to the highest bidder for so long. All these politicians, I can't speak on individuals, but for a long time, they were just taking lobbying money, pharmacy lobbying money, big agriculture lobbying money, military industrial complex lobbying money, in some cases, foreign lobbying money. They're just like open season. You pay me, I'll do it. I'll pass the bill. I'll do this. So there's a reason none of them look healthy, because instead of doing jumping jacks and push-ups and eating healthier, they've been selling out our country to multiple industries. So they all look disgusting. Not all of them, but most of them. And, Rachel Levine telling me to wear a mask. I mean, is that woman or what, Rachel Levine, she's the health director. Are you kidding me? Listen, every extra pound, I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be mean. God bless everybody. But as somebody that's into fitness, I'm in pretty good shape. This is pretty heavy. I mean, I could lift it, a 20-pound weight. 20 pounds. If you're 20 pounds overweight, you're carrying this around. Imagine what that does on your bones, your body. If you catch COVID or you catch something, imagine what that does to you. There's a reason that the hospitalizations are obesity. There's a reason that most of the deaths were in obese countries. It's not healthy to be obese, and it's okay. I know people, and I'm sure half of my audience is probably overweight technically, because our whole country is overweight. And at a certain point, I was probably technically overweight, because I'm not supposed to have a gut. But the point I'm getting to is I don't tell people, I can't force broccoli down someone's throat. I can't make them do jumping jacks. But I'll tell you what, I said this in March. This was just my common sense intuition. When they did 15 days to slow the spread, I remember saying, imagine if we did mandatory workouts, mandatory jumping jacks, run in a circle for 30 minutes. Everybody works out. Everybody. It doesn't matter how fat or skinny you are. Everybody works out for an hour every day for 5 days a week. Keep schools open, keep gyms open, keep churches open, keep businesses open, keep restaurants open, keep everything open. Just mandatory workouts 5 days a week. I guarantee you that we would have saved more lives. I guarantee you we would have had less COVID deaths, because most of the COVID hospitalizations were obesity, and it's not random. That's how science works. But they don't want to save your life. These people are not in the business of making you healthy. They'll do every sort of statistical skew, every way, which by the way, Bill Gates told me to read this book, How to Lie with Statistics, every way to skew every chart and every graph to convince you that social isolation, closing down gyms, closing down places of worship, closing down restaurants, letting the tech industries take over. Who wins when your business closes down and restaurants close down? Uber Eats wins, Postmates wins, Facebook wins, Google wins, Zoom wins, Skype wins, Amazon wins. These are the people that are also providing the news between Facebook, YouTube, Google, and Amazon, who Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, right there. And Washington Post and New York Times, they're always breaking each other's stories. It's like them and CNN, they're all in it. Yeah, they control most of the news and they control most of the influence of news. So if you can't go to an event where you talk to people, the only way you could talk to people is on Facebook. But Facebook won't allow you to disagree with them. So the tech companies just ran our country dry and knocked their influence and power up times 10. Oh, how convenient. I'm sure that was random, but I can't say it's a conspiracy theory unless, CNN starts talking about it and all of a sudden it's not a conspiracy theory because politicians got more power and so did big tech. So I am not caving to this medical tyranny and it's not healthy. I hope someone from Facebook is watching this. I hope so, because I hope they know at the bottom of their heart and their soul that what I'm saying is true and what they're saying is insane. They are trying to tell people that living in fear, living in cloth, living in paranoia, living in stress, being as completely unhealthy as they want, eating high fructose corn syrup, doesn't matter how big you are, just go and get the Moderna or the Pfizer and you're healthy and safe. And if your friends don't get it, then they're evil and bad and you can't hang out with them and they can't go to events. F you, CDC. F you, all of these people. You are so evil. You are so wicked. I hope it haunts you at night, just being such a demon on society, being such a fraud, trying to hurt people so bad. The healthiest people that I know, they're not even listening to these people at all. I know bodybuilders, yoga teachers, fitness instructors, all the healthiest people I know that look amazing for their age, no matter if they're 20, 30, and 90. G. Edward Griffin looks fantastic. The dude's 90 years old or 89 years old, and he looks better than like 60-year-olds I've seen. And he's like, I don't even take pills. I just live a healthy life. Like the healthiest people I know are not doing this because that's not what makes you healthy. One injection in my arm doesn't turn me into Superman. Real health comes from mental, physical, and in some cases, spiritual, psychological. You can get crazy with it depending who you are, but physical and mental, really. So, and they're crushing our mental health, crushing the spirit, the human spirit. They don't care. They are psychos. And I don't take orders from them. So I don't care what goes on at this point. I'm not listening. I don't care if I have to go out like a legend. I hope not. I hope it doesn't get that bad, like Gulag, Bolshevik style. But if you wanted to know, just to be honest, if you were wondering how World War II started and how all this stuff could be bad, look no further than these people. And I don't mean to exaggerate, but the Bolshevik Revolution happened before World War II. And, no one ever talks about it. Mao Zedong killed tens of millions of people, and I don't even remember learning about it in school. Isn't that weird? If you look up how Mao Zedong killed tens of millions of people, some of it was through starvation. And it's not so obvious when you starve people because, there's a Washington Post article I just read. It says hundreds of millions of people could starve. I did that, last time I went live. It's like, duh, you can't just destroy supply chains and stuff. We live in a very fragile system, even with technology. Like one oil line goes down, one food line goes down, one digital, company goes down that deals with thousands of companies. Our whole society is so fragile. So, these people could tell you fact check. And then 5 years later, they could starve tens of millions of people on islands and stuff that rely on travel in order to gain, a lot of their economy is travel and, residency or people staying at hotels. Yeah, they might have just screwed over millions of people in this world. They don't care. So I'm never going to bow down to them. And, God bless these people's souls. But this forced injection stuff, I'm not doing it. I don't know if I'll go to Trader Joe's or Walmart, but, these people need to chill out. And I just have one more message, and then I'm going to read some comments. The reason I've been talking about this since last year is because they're not going to stop. If you think 15 days to slow the spread turning into 1 year, and now they're pretty much telling you you're going to be a slave to your citizen if you don't listen to us and get this injection whenever we tell you, Do you not understand the president that said these people are not going to stop until enough people reject it? And I think enough people are, and I think that's why they're starting to freak out. But I don't take orders from these people. I'm not doing it. And I've never told people to or not do it. I don't give medical advice. But however, I wasn't going to get it anyway. But the more they do this, it's like, yeah, I don't need it. I don't want it. And I'm never listening to them again. I'm not going to be bullied or held for ransom. And my only option is to get whatever they tell me inside my body. If you lose your bodily autonomy, this is just such a wild world. But to be quite frank, I don't even listen to them. So, on one hand, it's annoying. On the other hand, I just tune them out. Like that, they don't, I've been going around for the last 4 months maskless. I went to Sturgis and shook 1,000 hands in South Dakota last August, and I didn't even catch a common cold. I haven't been sick all year. I've shaken thousands of hands. I've been to dozens of events with hundreds of people, thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. That's fine. Human interaction, wash your hands. You could always get sick, but this is no way to live. So God bless you guys. God bless your family, and stay strong. Stay blessed, stay strong, but do what you want to do. If you want to get something, knock yourself out. But if you think getting pressured into it is going to save you, you're in for a rude awakening, because the more you cave, the more they demand. It's only when enough people stand up and hold their ground respectfully, peacefully, honestly, accurately, scientifically, health-wise, lay out the facts, explain to them how this isn't healthy. Because I'm not going to let the least healthy people in our society bully me into a completely degenerate health plan when these are the same people pushing high fructose corn syrup, trashy products, fast food, Krispy Kreme donuts, among a country that has way too many cases of diabetes, overweight, which will lead to hospitalizations of other illnesses, and they could care less. Shame on these people. I have a new video tomorrow, and I think my video tomorrow is going to be very, very, very powerful. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to answer some questions, but the way, if you would like to follow, I have a Telegram chat. If you search Dream Rare Chat, it should come up. It's t.me/Dream Rare Chat, or on Telegram, Dream Rare Chat, Anomaly Dream Rare Chat. I have a free email list, stayintouchwithme.com. That's just Google, or not Google, I guess just like type stayintouchwithme.com. You could add my free email list. I'm actually going to send an email out tomorrow because this video is so powerful. I really think it's going to be the biggest one in a while. Feel free to copy it. Feel free to upload it to your channel. I don't care. I'm not going to copyright you. I want this message to be heard because I have, I attended a protest where there were kids, begging to take the masks off. And this little girl explained how horrible it is for her. And I really think it's going to be a big hit because it just came from the soul. And watching her say that, trying to imagine myself her age and having to deal with what these kids are dealing with, it's so sick. So I'm going to send out an email tomorrow specifically for that video and some other stuff. Stayintouchwithme.com. You guys get it. Thank you for everybody on Patreon. Thank you for everybody on Facebook supporters. Wednesday, we're doing a Facebook supporter only. If you're a Facebook supporter, we're doing a live stream for that. That's what I do once a month. That's what it is. I mean, let me know your stories here too. I'm not being bullied. If you want to get something, that's fine. But this idea that I'm going to be a slave tier citizen in society for not bowing down, there needs to be peaceful. I have to say this or they'll accuse me of like insurrection, but there needs to be peaceful pushback, respectful. You're not that healthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be bullied by people on Twitter every other month saying they have mental illness and like, oh my God, I'm such a mess. Like, that's fine. I pray for you. I'll help you. But like, you don't get to decide what I put in my body, whether it's food or medicine. And especially these industries, I mean, whether it be agriculture or pharmacy, if I took orders from agriculture and pharmacy, I probably wouldn't even be alive right now with all of the lies and times they've got caught with their fraudulent schemes, pushing, companies and products that benefit them financially. Hasn't that been like the last 30 years? There's some great medicine out there, but between the food pyramid and the history of Bayer, Pfizer, Monsanto, Johnson & Johnson, like, yeah, cool. You guys make some great products, but I'll pass on the shots. I think that's a little crazy. I don't want mRNA in my body. I have beautiful mRNA in my body. I love my mRNA. I love it. It's working right now. You can't see it, but inside my body, I have DNA. That's who I am. That's what made me. That's my ancestry. And then I have mRNA. mRNA be jugging in and out of my building proteins, doing all sorts of going in, going out. And I love my mRNA. Sometimes I sit in bed and I say, thank you, God. Thank you for giving me unique mRNA inside my body, messenger RNA, connecting the dots, doing their thing, sending messages all over. So I love it. I don't want fake mRNA in my body. If other people feel they want to build a spike protein and they want fake mRNA, that's dope. Like, listen, who am I? Some people put huge things in their ears and they're like, I love My Chemical Romance. And I'm like, I love My Chemical Romance. Actually, their first album bangs, but I don't dress like that. But I can't tell you to not put a 5-inch hole in your head and say, oh my God, I love this band. Like, that's cool. If you rock it, like Billy Armstrong from Green Day, he's wearing makeup and stuff and like black nails. It's not my thing, but I'm not going to stop you from doing it. That the fact that these people are like, oh no, you have to get you're not going to force me to put synthetic fake mRNA in my body to build a spike protein. I don't want that. I don't need that. I have an immune system. I haven't been sick in years. I've been all over the place shaking hands. Like, you can't force me to get mRNA. I love my mRNA, and that's a personal choice. Some people, their arm doesn't work and they get a metal arm, Now their arm's metal, and it's like, that's cool. My arm works great. I don't need a fake arm. My mRNA works great. I don't need fake mRNA. So if other people want synthetic, build it, disappear, they're doing the Moderna, that's cool. I've read the technology. I'm sure, it works for some people. But for me, you're not going to force me to put that in my body. Trust me, it's not happening. I'm not doing it. And it's so wicked. My thoughts on fish oil. I'm not a financial health or, medical advisor. I've heard good things about fish oil, but I'm not like this health wizard. I'm personally on a journey myself. I'm learning. Every year I've learned a lot. I used to just eat macaroni and cheese, ramen. I mean, I was broke just eating ramen every day. So going from that, learning about cheese, inflammation, learning about pasta and bread and trying to cut that out. This last week, I cut out sugar and bread for the first time. I did keto for a week just to try it out. I'm on a journey. I'm not an expert, but I'm trying to learn what works for me. And I'm trying to get in like Olympic athlete shape. I'm pretty good at basketball, soccer. I like to body surf. I love sports. And I just want to be in like the best shape of my life. That's just what I told myself this year. So I'm on a journey to just get stronger, leaner. That's where I'm at this year. So I don't know much about fish oil, but I'm going through the basics, working out, cardio, water. I love water. This is what I want. If you want mRNA, that's cool. Synthetic. I like a good water. Me and Bill Gates, we could just drink water, and talk about that. But maybe we can't because he's got some troubles in the media right now. So that's what health feels like to me. I played basketball today. I did some cardio. I've lifted some weights. I went to an event. I'm drinking some water. I feel good. I don't want pills. I know, pill. Oh, you can't be healthy unless you're like me. Get off me. They're like a little mosquito. They're a little GMO mosquito. It's like, leave me alone. All right. Let me read some of the stars. Let me see if anybody said something. Max Marisov said, I've literally had friends go back to Russia because it's more free in OPA. Russia more free than Canada. Yeah, God bless Canada. Canada's a nightmare. And I do want to say this too. I don't know who's listening at this point, but the reason America's so free is because of conservatives. I'm ticked off at Trump. Operation Warp Speed. I'll get into it. But, DeSantis, South Dakota, Oklahoma, this is why America's free. Canada is too liberal. The liberals are too liberal. The conservatives are too liberal. That's why they have no backbone. They have no First Amendment. They have no Second Amendment. They have nothing. So they're withering in the wind and they're just shutting it down. But I will say this. Most people who oppose lockdowns are Trump supporters. I go to all these freedom events and it's all Trump supporters. I just have to be honest, and people seem to like when I say it. Trump put out multiple emails about rushing the FDA. I pushed the FDA. I pushed them so fast. Without me, they never would have put out these vaccines. Oh man, Fauci couldn't push the FDA fast enough. I pushed him. Operation Warp Speed. Rah, rah, rah. Trump has all the time in the world to put out emails like this, but he doesn't have time to put out an email talking about mandatory vaccinations and how they're trying to force them at Walmart and Trader Joe's and the CDC and Walensky and Biden. And he doesn't have time. He doesn't care about you guys. At what point do people realize that Trump doesn't care? Trump did Operation Warp Speed. Trump locked the country down. Trump put on a little election show, and he's still just Mr. Circus Clown. He's like, election, look over here. If you have time to tweet about how you brought the vaccines here, and now they're using them and threatening the public, your voters, to get them, and they don't want them, shouldn't you have a moral obligation and a leadership obligation to mention something about that? Of course Trump does, but he doesn't care. He knows most of his supporters will lick the dirt off his shoes before they ever question. I mean, Trump is so complicit in this entire scheme. Without Trump, Operation Warp Speed, lockdown, the CARES Act, none of this is possible. He did just as much to start this, and Biden's cleaning us out, and Trump's doing a little dance. He can't say anything about the mandatory vaccinations. He doesn't care. I'm so tired of that guy, and I'm so tired of people just licking dirt off his shoes like for a living. It's like, guys, start waving American flags. Stop waving Trump flags. Start waving American flags, okay? We're the United States of America, not the cult of Operation Warp Speed Space Force. And I will say this too. I know people don't want to hear it, but I never liked Space Force that much because I knew he's just adding a government agency. Oh, he's redirecting this and that. Guys, we have the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the military. We have so much bureaucracy already, and Trump makes the Space Force. And now you see Space Force is kicking out conservatives. Oh, you're complaining about Marxism? You're kicked out of Space Force. Who's running the Space Force? I've read articles that are saying Kamala Harris is in charge of Space Force or whatever. Yeah, Trump just created basically a new government agency, a new big government thing. And now it's being weaponized against conservatives because that's what you're supposed to do, is not add to the government. Trump made government bigger than anyone ever and then did a dance on his way out, and people don't see that. So, it's like Space Force, Operation Warp Speed. This is branding things that are not that great and convincing conservatives that it's like a video game. Operation Warp Speed, he branded that like Space Force. Trump is a genius businessman, He sold you mandatory vaccination. Oh, he didn't mean it to be mandatory. He doesn't care. Where's his email about it? He doesn't care. He's in on it. He did this. He brought it out. He's proud of it. He doesn't have time to speak to you little plebs about, oh yeah, you're getting for it. He doesn't care. Just keep dancing in circles around his little election show. That's what he wants you to do. Just keep dancing. I'm so as a man, as an American, as a citizen, as a supporter of this guy, or at least someone who helped him and defended him, I'm offended. Not like I'm offended. I'm offended. Like I don't get treated this way. Like I'm not a slave. I'm not a prisoner. And if somebody like Trump brought all of this tyranny here, the least he could do is comment on it. If not, he's certainly not my leader. And anybody with half a brain or common sense should realize the two-party trick at this point. They send you back and forth. You fight Biden, you fight Trump, and they all do the same thing. Biden, Operation Warp Speed. Trump, Operation Warp Speed. He did it. No, I did the vaccines. Now you got Senator Hawley. Oh, Trump did this. They've got Republicans defending vaccination. Okay, cool. That's great. Vaccination. Cool. How about the fact that we got locked down dummies for over a year? How about the fact that you guys couldn't even stop these people from oppressing us, and now they're trying to cut us off from society? If any conservative you follow, I don't care if it's me or someone else, if they're not making medical tyranny a top 2 issue, they're not conserving anything, okay? I don't care who it is, Trump, Republican, a conservative influencer. If they don't make medical tyranny one of their biggest, talking points, they're just a clown. And you're not going to conserve. First Amendment was taken away because of the pandemic. The Second Amendment, they'll use something as an excuse. But, what are you going to conserve? If you can't stop medical tyranny, you can't even stop yourself from being treated like a second-tier citizen. So I'm just blown away by the partisan politics on the right wing. It's focus on the medical stuff. You can't conserve any of the things you're talking about if you don't get to the root of what's going on right now, which is the medical tyranny. So I hope people start realizing that, because you're not getting the freedom. And the reason why is Ron DeSantis so popular, because he's fighting medical tyranny. That's the reason. DeSantis went from here to here. He's more popular than Trump now among conservatives, rightfully so. Why? What is he doing differently? He's fighting medical tyranny really hard as far as doing this. He's trying. I don't know if he's doing everything. He's trying. That's the new conservative party. If you're not going to do at least half of what DeSantis is doing, get out of the way. You're just a joke. You're an actor. You're a clown. You're just raising money for some sort of super PAC and then going to do nothing with it. So, the base needs to demand this, because if you're not getting to the root of this stuff, they're not doing anything for me. All right, let's read. Let's see. Someone said DeSantis was getting everybody V'd. No, they're all doing that. The only one, I'll read a tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I mean, I don't know what she's doing. She's the only one I heard say this, but I'm going to read her tweet. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's in Congress. Let me find it real quick. I just got to scroll down. So she said the other day, let's see. Let me just find it. Oh, here it is. She said, no entity can force Americans to take the COVID-19 vaccine. It's still experimental and not approved by the FDA yet. Mask mandates are always always were government ovaries. Masking children is child abuse, and schools must stop this abuse immediately. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Congress member from Georgia. She's the only person I've heard say that, really. That should be the message every Republican in Congress should be saying. You can't force people to do this. It's not even FDA approved yet. They don't have liability. Masking kids is insane. It's been abusive, and you need to stop. If every Republican was saying that, it would be over. But they're all clowns. They're all like circus actors, and they're like, hey, guys, I just got 75% of the elderly vaccinated in my state. Operation Warp Speed was a huge... Man, we're really fighting Biden. You guys don't like Ilhan Omar, right? Because she's fighting Israel. And everyone's like, yeah, oh my God, Ilhan Omar. And they're like, yeah, Operation Warp Speed. Ilhan Omar could never do that. We rushed the vaccines faster than Fauci could have. And then everyone's like, no, it's all... I'm so tired of all these politicians, Trump included. He's like the worst one. He's the worst one. He brought all this nonsense here, and he has yet to even address it via email. He's got all the time in the world to send me 10 emails a week. Not one of them has to do with his Operation Warp Speed, which has always been a jump off to shove down our throats. I would never vote for him again. He's not only not my leader, if he doesn't correct his path, he's one of the worst psyops in modern history. He took everybody on a ride, gave us all this patriotism, which was great. We appreciate it. Inspired me, inspired others, and then set us up harder than any politician set us up, and set his supporters up at the Capitol. He told everybody to go to an event that ended up being the death blow to any sort of conservative organization in 2021. No one can organize because all the organizers were at the Capitol. Everyone at the Capitol is getting blamed for insurrection, even if they didn't enter the Capitol. Does Trump say anything about it? Where's his emails about that? Shouldn't he have an email that thousands of his supporters are getting in trouble? He doesn't care. He literally doesn't care. Why would he care? None of his supporters care to stand up for themselves. You get what you put in. If you're a pushover, you get pushed over. If you don't stand up for yourself, no one's going to respect you. You got to respect yourself. It doesn't matter if it's me or Trump. As a man, as a person, as a woman, as a citizen, you shouldn't get bullied by Democrats, and you shouldn't be allowed to get bullied by Republicans. But Trump feels no pressure at all to actually address the fact that he set up all his supporters, because no one cares. They would probably get out of jail from going in the Capitol, and the first thing they do is just lick the dirt off his shoes. They'd be like, thank you. Your dirt tastes so... It's like, have some respect for yourself. Someone said Jenner 2022. I don't know about that. But I'm going to answer a few more, and then I'm going to get out of here. Someone said if you can't protect your own body, you don't deserve freedom. I mean, at this point, it's getting crazy. But yeah, it comes down to individuals. I'm reading the Cuomo comment. Yeah, he's a joke. I'm going to read this. Carolina said, Anomaly on point. I work for a school district, and I'm scared that I'm scared that they will mandate it. Then I am out of a job because I won't take it. There's not been, unfortunately, I don't know what could change that, but I think if enough people stand their ground, they can't do it. But I don't know. This is all just kind of disappointing, but I want to move to something more positive. And I heard everybody in 2020, the second Trump did Operation Warp Speed, I told her, this is a nightmare. This is a train wreck. This is a disaster. This is a betrayal. Trump screwed us. And everyone said, it's not going to be mandatory. And it's like, what planet are you on? You could find tweets from my Twitter in 2019 before the pandemic. They were trying to make vaccines mandatory in 2019. And we were all out there in California, New York, and New Jersey because we already saw the way that politics and big pharma was going. Before the pandemic, they were trying to mandate vaccines, and they successfully, in some cases, passed the bills to mandate it. So a lot of people were like 3 years behind because then it comes out Trump does Operation Warp Speed. They're never going to be mandatory. They're going to try for sure. So Trump betrayed us. Trump betrayed the country, but no one cares. So it's like, oh, he didn't mean to. Yeah, I planted an apple tree, and then the apple tree grew and there's apples on it. I didn't mean to make apples. I just planted an apple tree. Oh, I didn't mean to rush. I didn't mean to, do vaccine tyranny. I just gave the vaccine industry billions of dollars, locked the country down, and did Operation Warp Speed. He meant to do it. He doesn't care about you. You'll figure it out one day, or you won't. Someone said, I thought they couldn't mandate it. I don't know what the laws are, and all of this is new. First of all, a lot of what they're doing is scare tactics. Like, they're not going to check you, but they're going to scare you into saying it. Can they mandate it? It goes down to what's the rule of law. In this country, the rule of law doesn't work anymore. So there was a Supreme Court case in the early 2000s, Jacobson versus Massachusetts, where I could read it for you. It's creepy. They determined that you can be forced vaccinated by the government. They actually ruled that in the early 1900s. So I think that you shouldn't be able to be forced it, but they've passed already, Supreme Court, that you can be mandated vaccination. So this is all new as far as in the new era. They're going to revisit this, get lawsuits, but they may very well have a corrupt judge and just say, oh, this is actually, yeah, that's fine. Mandate vaccines. So I would hope it's illegal. I don't know the HIPAA laws, your personal freedom in this country. I'm not getting it though. So I follow the law, but I don't know that they even care. I'm not trying to be a complainer today, but where's the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court ruled in on churches like months late. How come they never weighed in on mask mandates and children mask mandates? How come they never weighed in on shut restaurants? The Supreme Court allowed restaurant industry to get shut down for a year in some states, and where's the big case? So I have no faith in the Supreme Court, unfortunately, because where were they the whole pandemic? Isn't that what they're for? Emergency orders and executive powers that oversee the Constitution? Where were they? Where are they now? And that's what's annoyed me so much about Trump. Trump's making everyone do the Supreme Court. Do the Supreme Court for what? For the election, sure. But do any of you care that our country is just being executed via lockdowns and via restaurant execution and small business, and anything that was able to compete with Amazon just got wiped off the face of the earth in the last year via government force? Do you want the Supreme Court to weigh in on that? No one on the right wants that because they're all brainwashed by Trump, who's running them circles around the election, tells them to go to the Capitol, gets everybody set up, and then just does email blasts about Operation Warp Speed. Have some respect for yourself, because this guy doesn't respect you. So we can't accomplish anything as a political party because our political party got brainwashed by Trump, and he runs them in circles, sells them vaccines, and then leaves, gets everybody set up. And now no one's asking the Supreme Court to weigh. The Supreme Court should be weighing in on all this stuff, and they should have back in March and April and June and May, but no one's asking them to. Ted Cruz, Trump, they're all just asking about the election. That's cool, but it's a bipartisan tyranny. It's bipartisan corruption. The Democrats are worse, but you get what I'm saying? It's a big circus. It's a big left and right circus. You think you're accomplishing something, but you're wasting 3 years running in circles. I hope there's a fair election for sure, but I see the setup. He's been setting people up for the last year. Shouldn't everybody have been saying, hey, Supreme Court, weigh in on the restaurants. Hey, Supreme Court, weigh in on the mask mandates. Yes, but Trump and the leadership, they never asked you to do that because they don't care. It's a tough pill to swallow. Someone said, look up the Nuremberg Code. I'm familiar with the Nuremberg Code. I agree. I hear you. It says pretty specifically, in my opinion, but they're not following the Nuremberg Code, kind of like how they don't follow any treaties they ever do with Native Americans or anything. I don't think these people actually care about any of these codes and, treaties that they sign. So it's just for show. Yeah, I don't think they care about the Nuremberg Code. Someone said we're going to look back at this one day with disgust. I mean, we should. I pray that someone gets held accountable for this wickedness, because every aspect of this last year is just like peak level corruption. This is like a rotting society. In our country, lobbyists and big money interests have taken over everything. They've taken over the government. They've taken over health. They've taken over medicine. They've taken over food. One of the biggest seed distributors is Monsanto. Monsanto and Bayer merged. These are two of the most, in my opinion, unethical companies in modern history, merging to control the seed market and a lot of the drug market. It's like, yeah, we don't have the biggest winners in these companies. And then every politician that I like, they're all in on it. They're all selling these products. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the only person in Congress that I've seen actually make a tweet saying it's not FDA approved yet. It's emergency use authorized. That's a pretty big deal. It's pretty important. I mean, wordplay, this and that. As far as FDA approval, although it's not the be all end all, it's a pretty big deal. How come Trump's never said it? How come DeSantis has never said it? How come any of these are? Because they don't care. Because it's all just a show. They're doing just enough to, please us, but not enough to actually get to the root of what's going on. And I hate to say it because I like a lot of these people, but one congressperson talks about it and the rest of them just say, get it, get it, get it, get it. I'll pass, but thanks. All right, a few more. I'm not trying to complain. I'm having a good day. Someone said, you're wrong. It's DC. That's a corporation, not the US. DC has its own flag. Whatever you want to tell yourself, bro. I mean, corporation, government. Are you one of those people that's like, ooh, the government's a corporation and Trump's going to come back on July 4th. He's going to save us because there's a corporation and two constitutions? Like, no, there's not. But whatever. Is the government a corporate? Whatever you want to say. I mean, the NIH owns part of the Moderna patent. So yeah, in some ways they are a corporation, but I don't know what angle you're going for. No offense. But people are like, no, Anomaly, you don't understand. The government's a corporation and Trump's fighting the corporation with Operation Warp Speed. He's warp speeding the vaccines to save us from Bill Gates. It's like at a certain point, you're going to stop having to play Pokemon with real life. If you're into fairy tales, just play a game. Okay. There's plenty of, you can watch anime, get into Star Wars. There's all sorts of things for fantasy, and they're really fun. They have big cult followings. Don't play fantasy with the real world. Don't make up a little, Pokemon story with Donald Trump. Don't play fantasy with real boys, okay? Because it's annoying. If you want to play fantasy, I have friends that are into Star Trek, Star Wars, Pokemon. It's fine. That's what it's for. It's an escape from reality by doing something that is not real, playing video games. Don't play fake reality with real reality and tell people it's real. No, Anomaly, you don't understand. Trump's going to fight Bill Gates with Operation Warp Speed. He's really trying. When he says vaccine, he doesn't mean vaccine. He didn't really pump the vaccine. Yeah, he did. You're just a pathological lie. You're playing Pokemon with Trump, and you can't come to terms that he didn't do what you thought he was going to do. No, Anomaly, they're going to get arrested on the Capitol on the 20th. None of them got arrested. You got arrested. Everybody who followed Trump to the Capitol either got arrested or probably got a call from the feds. So Biden and Chrissy Teigen, they're fine. Your friends kicked off social media, being threatened right now, sorry, Pokemon game's over, guys. It's time to grow up. I like Pokemon too, but I'm just saying, when I play Rocket League, I'm playing a video, I don't act like it's real life. Like, I don't bring it to real life. Like, get your thrills somewhere else so you don't mix politics with your fantasies, There's real conspiracies going on. You don't have to put them all together, throw them in a thing, and then throw them out the window and just believe anything. Someone said Rocket League. I love Rocket League. I haven't played in a while, but I'm busy. I always like to work, but I do kind of want to play again, but it's all good. Someone said WTF receipts. The United States is a corporation. The United States is not a country. It's a federal corporation. Do not take my word for it, brothers and sisters. Look at it. I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying the people who talk about United States being a corporation, they're always like, and Trump's fighting the corporation. He's going to be back in July. Like, if you're trying to make the argument, yeah, I mean, the whole system, like, is it a country or is it a corporation? The bankers, the politicians, I get it. I'm not even arguing with you. Like, at the end of the day, it's all a big business. So technically, I agree. Yeah, it's business as usual. The big money, the big influence, the big countries, the big boys are running the show. But I'm not debating the corporation part. I'm just saying the only time I've heard that recently is people were like, it's a corporation. Listen, I've been watching Simon Parks, and he told me Trump's gonna come back soon, and he's gonna just destroy he's the real president. Biden's not the real president. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not arguing with you about what you said. Someone said, who's playing Pokemon? I don't know. I'm just bringing it up. Someone said, no, Trump is part of the corporation. Whatever. I'm over it. It's okay. I got you, bro. You're crushing. People get what I'm saying, I think. Someone said my lives are always freezing. Yeah, I don't know why. Here, I'll try to read a superstar chat on Facebook. Let me see. Someone said, how can they make you wear a mask according if you don't have the vaccine, medical privacy, HIPAA laws? Well, that's the thing. I don't know the HIPAA laws, but most of this is from ignorance. You know, most of this, people don't know their rights. So I'll give you an example. I've done so many things without a mask, and sometimes people bother you, but for the most part, they don't. You know, it's like I know where I can go. If someone says something to me, I have a conversation with them. Like, a lot of it's fear, and a lot of it's like, you know, if you stand up for yourself, yeah, that would be a great idea. Print out the HIPAA laws, print out the FDA approval, print out all that stuff, and just be like, you know, do you know this? Do you know, like, go to your employer? That's how you win, is knowing your rights, knowing the laws, knowing the articles, and standing your ground to your employer or whoever's trying to force you. That's definitely how you win. And that's what I do if I'm not just standing. Misha said, have you ever thought about going around the US and do live rallies? I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and I would come to one of your events. I've thought about it, but two things. One, the pandemic kind of screwed it up. And also, I feel like if I did events that, like, I just feel like I would be being tracked and stuff. Like, I'm not paranoid at all. My life is good. I'm not afraid. But, like, I don't know. I feel like people would get involved, and, like, I don't know. My experience so far has not been great. I barely go to events, and, you know, I feel like the feds always try to get involved or make it seem like it's something it wasn't. Like, for the most part, most Trump rallies are just people trying to support the president. Like, that one on the 6th was a train wreck, but most of the people there who didn't go in, they were just thinking it was going to be like a normal Trump rally. I didn't even go, but, you know, I don't really want to do live events because I feel like they're treating people insanely now. Like, it's always like, oh my God, are you connected to this person? Are you connected? They're trying to, like, use, like, terrorist type, you know, tactics against conservatives for the crime of loving the country. So I'm not in a rush to, like, travel the country. I mean, Chris Sky did that in Canada, and they got, like, police following him and stuff. Like, sounds stressful. Someone said, never sell your soul, Anomaly. It's not for sale. Don't worry. All right, a few more, and then I'm going to roll out. I have a great video. I'm going to spend the rest of the day editing. It's going to be out tomorrow. I think it's going to be one of my most powerful videos. Let me see. Thank you, Ken, if that's who you're talking about. Someone said yes, but they are all FDA approved. They're actually not. I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're talking about the Moderna, the Pfizer, and the J&J, if you look it up, they've all been emergency use authorized. They're not FDA approved at this moment. That might change soon, but they're emergency authorized. People, it's funny because people don't know that because they lie to them. I've done videos. There's high-level people in government lying to you, and people get, oh, I'm fighting Trump and Republicans, so I'm taking the it's not approved. It's emergency use. They've approved it for emergency use, which is very different. It means we're not done approving it, but this is so bad you can take it and on your own. You're not supposed to force emergency use authorized products. What they're doing is psychotic. But whatever, you'll figure it out, or you won't. But I don't care. Someone said that's why the military is not forced, because it's not authorized. Well, it's not approved, FDA approved. It's emergency use authorized. Someone said Anomaly's catchphrase, okay, just a few more questions, and then it's more questions. Yeah, I'm sorry. Someone said HIPAA does require apply medical information. Yeah, I don't know the privacy. Someone said you're worried about being tracked. Your account is probably used as a gatekeeping account by the feds. No, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about being tracked, but I'm just saying I see how they're operating. They just arrested hundreds of people at Trump's event, like for going in the Capitol, and then they're trying to blame everyone else. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not. It doesn't mean anything. If I actually was what you said I was, I would just be doing events and I'd be protected because those are being my people. But at this moment right now, I see what's going on. So at a certain point, I'm sure I'd like to do events, but right now I've done events. I have experiences that I don't even speak about, but yeah, I'm not in a rush to do that. I don't, Chris Guy's doing it in Canada. God bless him. But the police are showing up at his events. They're showing up after and like harassing him and stuff. If you want to do that, if you want to build a channel, get 600 million views and get smeared by NPR and Atlantic and get Chelsea Clinton tweeting about you, knock yourself out. See if you could do it. See how you'd feel if you'd want to, and then see how you feel. But you could never do what I do. So shut your mouth. So, oh no, you must be a setup because you don't want to do what I want you to do. I want you to get down on your knees and do 20 push-ups. Go right now. You, the one who yelled at me, 20 push-ups. Do it right now. You don't want to do it, do you? Because I don't control your life. So you coming here and trying to force me to do things that you want me to do, it's like, yeah, good luck ever doing what I do. But people are so rude online. It's like, no, you must be a Fed if you don't want to tour the country. It's like, shut up, loser. You do 1,000 push-ups right now, or else you're a Fed. It's like I don't even want to go to certain events. Like I used to say this even last year before all the Capitol stuff. I would get invited to certain events and I would tell people I don't want to go. Like they'd be like, Anomaly, do you want to be on this flyer? This was like a year ago, 2 years ago. Do you want to be on the flyer? And I would say no. And people would try to pressure me, even in the conservative movement. Like, why don't you want to go? Why don't you want to do this? Why? And I'm like, bro, if you ask me to go to the diner and say, Anomaly, you want to go to the diner? And I say no, would you harass me like that? Anomaly, why don't? It's like, bro, I'm not your kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your best friend. Like, if you ask me to do an event, that's fine. But if I say no, back off. Like, just like if you ask me to go out to dinner and I said I'm busy. So it's like people get so weird with events. Like, you have to do my event. I'm like, I don't have to do anything. I don't want to speak there. I don't want to be there. I don't have to go sometimes I have my own reasons. I just don't want to do it. You know, I live a stress-free life. So if it seems more stressful and there's no like output from it, it's like, I don't want to go. So people get all weird. You have to tour the country. You have to come to my event. It's like, well, now I'm definitely not coming because you're not going to bully me into like coming to your event or bully me into doing what you want me to do. It's like, do your own thing. I don't know. Why did I play basketball today and why didn't you? Because that's what I wanted to do. You know, I don't want to. I'm trying to finish my book. There's things I want to do, and then at a certain point, if I want to travel and do events, I'll do that. But I don't take bribes or demands. And I'm just saying, right now with the events and stuff, it's just a weird time. I mean, not just with that, but it's hard to do, you know, as far as all these regulations and people trying to do stuff. I would have to do them in Florida or somewhere that there was no regulations, because I would never do an event in New York and make people get tested. There's people doing that. Come to my event and get tested. If I'm making people get tested, I don't want to even deal with that. I don't want to deal with promoters and travel and figuring out hotels where they don't bother you, where they don't force a mask on you. Like, you get what I'm saying? I don't want to do this right now. I have too much to deal with, but you get it. Someone said, chill out and write a Fight for Freedom album, Anomaly. You could, I mean, I have other things in mind right now, but I appreciate it. Someone said Frisbee golf. I like Frisbee golf. I suck at Frisbee golf, but I'm not good at it, but I do like a good Frisbee golf. Someone said, Anomaly, you got to come to my barbecue. That sounds like a better offer. Thank you. Watchman for you. He's got an American flag with a Christian cross. He's asking me about barbecues. That's more my alley. If you're like, Anomaly, you got to come to my barbecue. It's like, I actually might, because that sounds delicious. If you're trying to yell at me to do events, then I'm like, no, I'm okay. Someone said, come to Northwest Florida. I mean, at a certain point, I might do something, but I'm trying to see the direction the world's going in. Right now, to me, is not the most ideal time to just do events for multiple reasons. Someone said, I'm up for a barbecue. That's cool. All right, 5 more minutes. I'm gonna be out by 1:20. I want to say this though, real quick. Just a few things. My free email list, stayintouchwithme.com. Please check back in the morning. New video tomorrow. It's going to be one of my most powerful videos in a while. I saw a girl, I don't know how old she was, 8, 10. I couldn't really tell. She gave like a really passionate speech at this event I was at. I felt like it was really God. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, okay, you're exaggerating, but I was late to the event. They told me to speak. And right after me was this little girl who spoke. And she just like gave a passionate account of like what being forced to wear masks in schools. And I recorded like 2 minutes, but I feel like that 2 minutes was such a smash hit. I was like, wow, this is powerful. So I'm going to build on that, show what they did to censor that event, and it should be good. Michael K said, Texas, no deaths from COVID-19 for 2 months since Biden called them Neanderthal thinking. What's your thought? I don't know that they had no deaths for 2 months. I think they had no deaths for a day. So I would have to fact check you there because I'm not sure that that's true. What you just said. But as far as their numbers, yeah, they're doing way better than Biden said, because human slavery is not healthy, folks. It's not healthy to shut everything down and treat everybody like abused show animals. So Texas and Florida has proved that. The culture war with the super chat. I've seen you spamming that. He said Sanctum, Scotty the Kid. I don't know what that means. I know Scotty, but I don't know if you got to speak in like full sentences. So if you want to super chat again and say like what you mean, but I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Someone said, Anomaly, Biden is pushing the H1R voting bill. You won't have to worry about picking a president anymore. We'll see what happens. It's crazy times, but I'm not trying to get stressed out. Someone said, why do people wear a mask and a face mask in a photo? It's become like a culture. It's like, I'm not a Republican. I wear a mask. I support the science. I wear a mask. I'm not an anti-masker. I wear a mask. So it's a giant virtue signal. It's like, I'm so good of a listener that I wear my mask. Talk about Kabbalah, please. I'm not really a Kabbalah expert, believe it or not, so I don't know what you want me to talk about. But I said I was going to stay for 5 more minutes. So as far as like super long or heavy topics, I'm not going to get into it right now. But I'll be back later this week. If you guys follow me on Instagram, Dream Rare, I do a lot of Instagram lives where I bring people on, have big discussions and stuff. But I don't know that much about Kabbalah to talk about. But in general, I don't want to get started in like a 40-minute convo right now. Someone said, did not come to piss you off, came to let people know there's a way out of the matrix by constitutions, the American Assembly. No, you're good, Juan Jose. I was just trolling because so many people have like hit me with that angle and then said that there's 2 constitutions and Trump's coming back to save you. I don't know. It just reminded me that's why I was joking. You're good, Juan. I appreciate the knowledge and people can look that up. You're good. Someone said, go ahead, Anomaly. We know what you want to talk about it. I'll tell you when I want to talk about something. Honestly, I want to leave within the next couple minutes. No offense. I still have like almost 2,000 people here, so I'll stay for a minute, but I want to stay and edit this video. There's like people say Israel, Palestine, like it's going to take longer than a minute. So I don't want to half-ass a topic. But as far as Kabbalah is like what? Jewish mysticism. It's some sort of, offsect of that. It's not my expertise. So I don't know what you want me to talk or say about that. Like, I don't know that much about it. I know what it is, like overture of what it is. But as far as like the insight and depth and stuff, it's not my thing. Spread and Truth said, appreciate you keeping these conversations open, Anomaly. God is definitely at work. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let me try to hit up the Facebook stuff if anybody else did one. Misha said, do you know Derek Bros of the Conscious Resistance Network? Gotta watch his new documentary series called The Pyramid of Power. I haven't heard of him, but I will check it out. Thank you for the super chat. Phyllis Howlett said, I would rather have Trump over Biden, but you're right. He shouldn't have failed us. And maybe we'll end on this note. I agree. I mean, I voted for Trump, even if they're doing the same things. If Trump and Biden are doing the same things, Trump still seems like he does more for America. He still seems like he does more for taxes. He does little things, even with the pandemic. I agree. I voted for Trump. But, this is the two-party trap. Either with Biden, you get, medical tyranny, Operation Warp Speed, socialism, communism, like a slow roll towards Marxism, or you vote for Trump. And really, he kind of did all those things too. He just kind of like fought against it a little bit. But, to me, he screwed us royally. But that's the game. That, like, when they had Mitt Romney or what was it? Romney or Obama, McCain or Obama, it's controlled theater. McCain, Obama, Romney, Obama, George Bush, Al Gore. Like, they don't really care who wins because they're both part of the club. As George Carlin said, it's one big club and you're not in it. So I don't think they care. So with Trump, we assumed, or people assumed, well, Trump must be outside of that club. He seems like he's outside of that club, right? That's why people liked him. He's not in the club with Mitt Romney. He's not in the club with George Bush. And that might be true because they seem not to get along. But, I go by actions. And the first 3 years of Trump, his actions were pretty good. I mean, listen, there were things he didn't do. I saw the critiques. I listened to right-wingers who were mad. But I'm like, listen, he's doing pretty good. Yeah, he could have done that. He could have done that. He kind of failed on that. But I would say overall, the first 3 years, I'm giving him a pass. I'm like, listen, I'm impressed. I didn't have expectations. I'm impressed. The fourth year was worse than any year of Obama. The fourth year of Trump was worse than anything Obama did, anything Bush did. Like, Trump royally screwed us with the lockdowns and Operation Warp Speed. So I go by action. So it's sad, but it's like the actions of Trump and the exit of Trump, it doesn't necessarily make me think that he's not in that club. I always thought he wasn't in that club, and I'm grateful for him in some ways, but it's like he went out the way he went out, pardoning nobody cool, getting his supporters set up at the Capitol, Operation Warp Speed, collaborating with Fauci and Gates, and then fake fighting them while he's funding all their companies and stuff and agencies. He kind of went out like a puppet, where maybe he got played, maybe it got too hard for him. I don't know, but it's disappointing. I mean, if you look outside of the rhetoric, outside of the patriotism, outside of the MAGA, if you look at 2020 and Trump, he did more communism and socialism and medical tyranny than Obama did. He did Operation Warp Speed, trillions of dollars of printing. He printed trillions of dollars. Biden didn't start printing. He's going to screw us, but Trump started it. Republicans started it. They all signed off on it in March and April because they don't actually care. So I realized really quickly that this is not working out. So yeah, I'd rather Trump than Biden, but at the same time, it's like, honestly, I'm so tired of Trump. I would never vote for him again. I'd vote for any DeSantis, not like Liz Cheney or those phonies, but anybody with a pulse, anybody that fights medical tyranny, if the next president doesn't know how to stand up to medical tyranny, they're not going to conserve anything. Trump is the worst. He's so bad. Like, he does nothing for us anymore in that case. So, it's disappointing, but I go by actions, and the actions of Trump over the last 2 years have been abysmal. He built us up, build me up, Buttercup, just to crash the entire movement into the ground and screw everybody over. I'm sorry. DeSantis is doing way more than Trump is. That's how I feel. Would I give Trump a second chance? I'm a forgiving person, of course, but he's not my leader right now. He's doing nothing. He's just flailing his arms, like acting like a goofball, and everyone's like, oh, Arizona audit. What about the lockdowns? What about Operation? You brought these here, and you can't even comment on them. He's putting on a show to just distract conservatives away from what really matters. But yeah, I would forgive him if he apologized for the lockdowns, said that, mandatory vaccines are horrible and he's going to do everything he can to stop them. And, a lot of that stuff was a mistake. But if he's not going to talk about medical tyranny, the only time he talks about it is when he says, I did it. It was me. My lockdown saved millions of lives. I'm so great. It's all, oh my God, I'm so good with the vaccines. I'm the king of vaccines. So yeah, he would have a lot of changing to do. I would forgive him, but he doesn't like. I mean, it's a cult now. Like people ignore it. They're like, well, fly an American flag at this point. I'm sorry, but like the Trump flags, I see them at the events. Like it's whatever. I take pictures with people with Trump flags. I like Trump. I like the Trump supporters. Fly an American flag, okay? What does a Trump flag mean? Do you support Operation Warp Speed? Is that a lockdown flag supporting 15 days to slow the spread? Trump did 15 days to slow the spread. Trump extended the lockdown past Easter. Trump said that Sweden was bad. Oh no, Sweden is open. Sweden's bad. It's better to lock down in America. That's Trump. So what does a Trump flag mean? It doesn't mean freedom. It doesn't mean anti-medical tyranny. It means socialism. Fly an American flag. It's time to move on, folks. But I would never vote for him again. I would sit out before I casted a vote for him. I don't support medical tyranny. I don't support a Moderna salesman. If I want to vote for a Moderna salesman, just vote for Bill Gates. If you want somebody that loves Moderna so much, you might as well just write in Bill Gates, because that's like what writing for Trump is. He sold Moderna harder than Bill Gates did. He loves it. He's so proud. These vaccines could have never got through the FDA without Trump. Cool. So what are you, the biggest betrayer in American history, and you're proud of it? You're making it one of your shining accomplishments? I'd never vote for him again. If he runs again, he's going to screw over the entire country and the entire Republican Party. Someone said Trump was more left than Obama. He ended more left than Obama. Outside of his mouth, if you look at March 2020 till January 2021 when he left, he was further left than Obama. He was further left than Obama socially, even on things like gay marriage when Obama first got in office. And he was also further left fiscally. What did he conserve? Did they cut the deficit? The Republicans under Trump printed more money than Obama printed. That's what they did. That's what happened. I know it's shocking, because it's like, well, I follow these Republican pages and they never talk about it. Yeah, because they're partisan sports teams. I'm team red. I'm fighting team blue. I get more hate now, ironically. All I do is talk about how liberals are going psychotic. I literally call them full-blown insane over the mask stuff. I don't even get hate messages from liberals anymore. It's Republicans. When I post on a Republican page and I say that Trump did that, they're like, F you, F this, F that, team red, hoorah. They don't even realize that Trump went further left than Obama. That's the trap. Team red or team blue. Hoorah. I'm so blue that I'll wear a face mask until I'm blue in the face. That's how not Republican I am. I'll wear a face mask forever because I'm team blue. Well, I'm team red. I don't care. It's all just a big joke. It's like sports for adults, except way dumber. I like sports more. Someone said I used to get Bill Gates confused with the Subway guy. That's really funny, unrelated, but hilarious. Someone said Trump commied out big time printing money. That's what happened. I'm not trying to be mean, but is that not what happened? He printed trillions of dollars. And now the Republicans are saying, look, it's the left who print. Dude, outside of partisan circles and like Republican pages, No one believes you that you guys are fiscally conservative. Like, oh, libertarians are so dumb. I always hear conservative. Libertarians stand up for nothing. I would agree with you if you actually were fiscally conservative, but the reason a lot of people are libertarian is because they realize that conservatives can't conserve anything. Like Ron Paul understood that 15 years ago with foreign wars and with printing money. It's no different now. It's like you got conservatives saying these libertarians are too liberal. They stand up for. What about you guys? You guys print trillions of dollars and then you blame Joe Biden. You're like, Joe Biden printed trillions of dollars. Yeah, he did. Joe Biden sucks. But so did Trump. But you don't say anything to Trump. So outside of these Republican circles, no one takes you seriously. Liberals don't take you seriously. They don't take themselves seriously. And more right-wing people are waking up to this. DeSantis is becoming more popular than Trump, as he should, because he's doing more to fight medical tyranny. If you can't fight medical tyranny, you can't lead the conservative movement. Trump is unfit to lead the conservative movement. Unless you want to follow him off a cliff and ruin the whole country, you can do that. But at this moment, medical tyranny is taking away all our rights, all our freedoms, all our businesses, all our travel, all our cruise lines. That's what's happening. If you don't understand medical tyranny, everything, whether it's fiscal, social, economic, you can't conserve anything. So this is not me being nitpicky. It's like Trump is missing the elephant in the room. And if he can't figure out the elephant in the room, he's unfit to lead. Like what's he going to lead? His own ego? He's going to lead a group of people to the Capitol so they get, set up by the feds. What else is he leading? He's not leading anything helpful. Operation Warp Speed, Space Force, creating a new government agency to be used against you. Vaccine rollout for Bill Gates. Like what conservative thing is he leading? Well, the election. Oh yeah, just keep running in circles around the election. I hope it's fair. I hope you win something. But at this point, it's starting to seem like Roman theater. Like it's just like a carousel that he's running you in circles. I wasn't falling for it, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I felt this way after November. I gave him a month. I said, listen, let's see what happens. Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, whatever. Give him a month to do a lawsuit. Give him 2 months, whatever it takes. Prove that there was fraud. I was all for it. I was like, listen, this seemed very sketchy to me. But then after, I just, Moderna. I did Moderna. Election fraud, FDA, Operation Warp Speed. I'm the vaccine guy. I was like, yo, this guy's a phony. I'm not following him to the Capitol. I knew it was a setup, not because I actually knew, but like, I'm not following a Moderna salesman to the Capitol. He started sounding like a puppet. I was like, he lost his authenticity that I liked about him the first 3 years. But anyway, then he ran everyone in circles for 3 months around the election. I'm not talking about what you thought was going to happen. I'm talking about what actually happened. So what was the final result? Everybody promised me, from the QAnons to the Trump, everybody promised me that the elites were going to get arrested on that big day. What actually happened? Trump ran you in circles for 3 months, told you to come to an event, and the entire event ended up being a setup. That's what happened. The elites didn't get arrested. Your enemies didn't get arrested. You got set up by the guy that you thought was rescuing you. So that's what I saw. So 3 months of election running ended in you getting set up. And you're going to run around him with the election for 3 more years. He's going to keep sending out these emails. Shouldn't it send off a red flag that he's not talking about medical tyranny at all, unless he's bragging about it? Shouldn't it be a red flag that he bragged about getting these vaccines to you and now they're being shoved down your throat and mandated and he's nowhere to be found in the fight against it? Isn't that a red flag? It's such a big red flag. You could build a whole red house with it and Clifford the big red dog could fit inside it. It couldn't possibly be a bigger red flag, but people are going to run around Trump for 3 years and it's going to end in something bad just like it did last time, because at a certain point, do the audit, do what you need to do. But if you don't understand medical tyranny, you're not conserving anything. That goes for me. That goes for Trump. That goes for DeSantis. That's why DeSantis is such a rock star right now. He's not perfect. He's done things I disagree with. There's things I think are shady, but DeSantis is fighting medical tyranny harder than most governors. That's why he's such a superstar, as he should be. And that should be the message to all the Republicans. If you're not going to go this hard against the CDC, take away our rights, against the cruise lines trying to mandate vaccines, against the sports leagues, doing full events, then get out of the way, because you're not fit to be an American leader right now, and that goes for anybody, including myself. I don't talk about this because it's good or trendy. It's everything. How could you not? Why did I blew up last year and I got even bigger than I already was? Because I was one of the few news sources talking about that. I wish I wasn't, but no one seemed to notice it. Like all these people for years, socialism sucks, socialism sucks. And then socialism comes to America and all of a sudden they have nothing to say. So what's the point about talking about socialism and communism sucking if it comes to the country via medical tyranny and you have nothing to say about it? What does that tell me? Either you're just a puppet or you're not. I don't know. It's just like a homecoming event. Like socialism sucks. Socialism sucks. Hey, socialism king. Yeah, whatever. I'm going to go to the event. It's like, it's not high school. This is America. So unfortunately, like not enough people are making this a priority. It has to be. It just has to be. If it's not, people aren't going to be conserving much in the Republican Party. And I see that as popular. On a positive note, I see when Don Jr. posts about it, he gets a lot of backlash. Like people are like, I don't agree. So we the people, the conservatives, just stand your ground, tell the truth. Whether it's me, whether it's Trump, like you don't have to worship. We're not you're deities. It's like you don't have. Oh my God, it's fine. He did Operation Warp Speed to say no, he didn't. Okay, he needs to hear that it's not cool. Someone said just give DeSantis time, guaranteed he pulls the trunk. He might. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I will say this real quick. Everybody told me about Elon Musk, right? Don't trust Elon Musk. Don't trust Elon Musk. I told people I think he's funny. And that's like, he's funny. He does some cool things for me, but I learned my lesson. I really did. I learned my lesson to never put my trust or worship into a man and a politician and a billionaire. It's not worth it. Whether it's Trump or Elon Musk, like I won't do it. So I never really had that high expectations for Elon, but I enjoyed him. Just this last week, he pissed everybody off. I mean, he pissed off the right wing by saying there should be a climate tax or a carbon tax. And then he pissed off Bitcoin by saying it's too bad for the environment. And he crashed the whole market pretty much. So it's like, I'm not even, I don't get attached to anybody anymore. DeSantis, Trump, I appreciate and I compliment what they do right. But, the problem with like a Trump or DeSantis is like, it's not like I'm nitpicking like, oh man, Trump just made a mistake. Like, yeah, we're all human. Trump didn't just like make a little mistake. I mean, I feel like what he did was worse than anything Obama did. The lockdown was worse than anything Obama did. I'm just going to say it. It's just how I feel. But I appreciate things he did before that and after that. But, it's just disappointing. It's okay. Someone said, why does HIPAA not apply? Things only apply if you make them apply. Like, I'll give you an example. I don't know I can't even remember the last time I wore a mask because I don't live in their reality. I don't live in their little weirdo world. So if your HIPAA laws, you could probably make them work for you, but most people don't know them. So these things work when enough people make them work. But if you can, that's the problem with the team thing. It's like, I am a liberal. Liberals used to be pro-vegan, pro-workout. Like liberals used to be really open-minded, and it was conservatives that were like, no. Now liberals are just brainwashed. They've been brainwashed by politics, media, entertainment. I'm not trying to be mean. I've never seen something dumber and more brainwashed than a modern-day liberal. Like, yikes. Republicans are not perfect, but like that's like some peak level mental abuse and brainwashing. Like they're out of it. They're gone. And then you go to the right side, it's better, but at the same time, there's still things that everybody falls for because it's like a team game. Well, they must be wrong. I must be right. It's like preschool. It's so sad, but whatever. That's the whole name of the game is like, it's just a big show. You guys get it. You got a smart audience here. Yeah, it gets very culty on both sides. But I'm grateful for the Republican Party in the sense of like Republican states and conservatives like dropping all the medical tyranny. I'm grateful for that. But there's, I think if people got a little tougher and a little smarter, we can start to make some more progress. Someone said, why did Candace shield to Trump and stroke his ego? Is she really better than Trump if she won't call him out when she interviews him? I like Candace. She talks about the medical tyranny a lot in her thing, but Yeah, I don't know why nobody wants to question Trump. I can't tell you. I don't want to, I like Candace, so I don't want to say anything bad about her, but like, and I didn't even see the interview, but when I watched Dan Bongino, I like Dan Bongino. He doesn't ask a single tough question to Trump. Same thing. It's just like, oh, Trump, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. Not a single question about Operation Warp Speed. All of these people are so against the medical tyranny, but they don't want to question Trump. I don't know. Same with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Ron DeSantis. They all are opposed to what Trump did, but nobody wants to say it. I can't tell you why. Probably because, that's just how you get up in this, all these Republicans are running on the ticket of like, I'm a Trump Republican. He's a cash cow. I get it. I'm fighting Liz Cheney. I'm going to fight Liz Cheney. That's like what these Republicans are running on. They're doing these ads. They're like, I'm fighting Mitt Romney in the Senate. I'm a Trump Republican. So that's the cash cow on the right. Like, you're a Trumper. You ride that Trump coattail to as far as you can. I get it. But I would love to see anybody ask him a real question, whether it be Tucker, Hannity, Candace, Dan Bongino, I don't know. I'm not going to put words in their mouth and ask them why they do what they won't do. But as a consumer, as a supporter, as a conservative, as a Republican voter at this point, I would love to see the Republicans, question. I don't know. It's becoming very culty. Like, nobody wants to ask them a question. Everybody's just like, yeah. It's like, I don't know. Why did you extend the lockdown past 15 days to slow the spread? I can't answer why other people don't do what, but I could do what I can do. That's all I can do. Everyone has a reason for what they do, and there's a time to say things and there's a time not to. But to me, it's such a big issue. I don't know if I would be able to close my mouth. I would have to ask it. I think, like, if you look at the Democratic Party, like, Pelosi is really running the show. Trump runs the right wing. So, you could call it what you want, but I think a lot of people, he's the top dog. Like, if you cross Trump, everyone's going to hate you. Take Mike Pence for an example. I don't even like Mike Pence that much. He seems like a nice guy, politician, always just talking like a politician. Everybody hates Mike Pence's guts because Trump told people that Mike Pence is a traitor for not changing the election on the 6th. Like, if you're that brainwashed by Trump that you think Pence is going to change the election on the 6th, like, you're losing it just as bad as a liberal. Like, you think Pence has the power to change the election? Why even vote then? Just let Kamala change the election. It doesn't work like that. They could send electorates back to the states that already sent them in. What does that do? Oh, we're going to change them. Well, then why didn't you send them in to the Congress that way? It's all a big scam, guys. Like that, but the point I'm getting to, what happens if you disagree with Trump on one thing? The whole base shits on you. Who wants to take that risk? Going against Trump, you lose everything. So everybody probably just shuts their mouth. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ruin my career or my, political ambitions by questioning Trump. I don't know if that's why, but I would assume Pence did a lot of things wrong, including Operation Warp Speed and lockdowns. No one cares. No one cares that Pence was working with Fauci. No one cares that Pence did the lockdowns. No one cares that Pence ran the coronavirus task force. Everybody only cares that Pence didn't overturn the election on the 6th. That's called right-wing brainwash. That's called Trump brainwashed you. Come on, guys. You think Pence is going to overturn the election? No, but Anomaly, he could have sent the electors. Yeah, good luck ever winning an election again. Kamala is just going to change send them back and see what happens. Send them back and they'll send them back. Guys, Trump's a liar. He just wants to blame everyone else instead of everyone else. Hey, blame Pence. He's like a walking time bomb. He gets everybody who supports him in trouble. Pence runs with him. He turns everybody against Pence. His supporters show up to help him at the Capitol. All his supporters get set up, and he doesn't even say anything. Do you not get it? He doesn't actually, at a certain point, it's not possible to win if you treat people like that. And honestly, like Steve Bannon, you're out. This person, you're out. General Flynn, he gets fired or like, oh no, it's in trouble. Alex Jones censored. No one cared. All Trump's major supporters in 2016, they all got in trouble. And I don't think he cares. He's just like, you're sloppy Steve, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's a selfish guy and you could love him. But at a certain point, I think the world is not going to allow someone like that. You can't just allow your base your fan base, your supporters, your best advisors. You can't just let them get wiped out and expect to be as strong. It's like a sports team without a coach, or, a coach being like, I'm the best, and then he loses his 4 best players, and now you're not a good team anymore. Well, Trump's advisors led him the wrong way. Well, maybe he should have kept someone like Steve Bannon in. I don't know. He seemed, I don't agree with Steve Bannon on everything, but he seemed pretty loyal and pretty smart. I think he helped let Trump win the election in 2016. Steve Bannon, Cambridge Analytica, Julian Assange, Alex Jones, say what you want about them. They helped Trump win the election. Without WikiLeaks, there is no Trump win. Without Steve Bannon, Trump's not winning. Without Alex Jones and his billion-view YouTube channel, Trump can't win. Without Milo Yiannopoulos going on the news, these are the people that helped Trump, and they all got wiped out. Trump fired Steve Bannon. Trump turned his back on Julian Assange. Trump did nothing when Alex Jones got censored for the first time, when they had the House, the Senate, and the presidency. So how is Trump going to keep winning? And then his supporters get set up at the Capitol on the 6th, and he doesn't even care. At a certain point, it's not possible to keep winning when all of your best supporters are getting destroyed and you could care less about them. It doesn't. The world doesn't work that way. So it's like, at a certain point, it's not effective leadership when you do that. You gotta. If Steve Bannon helped you win the election in 2016 with Cambridge Analytica, you shouldn't fire him. If Alex Jones helped you win the election with his billion-view YouTube channel, you shouldn't allow the First Amendment to destroy him. If Julian Assange helped you and you used his name 100 times on the campaign trail, when he gets arrested for something false, you should stand up for him. That's honor. And if it's like, you say what you want, but I think at a certain point, there's a lesson there. You have to stand up with the people who stand for you. And if you organize an event that goes awry, as a leader, you have to take responsibility. You didn't tell people to do that, but you could say it's kind of a sloppy event. It was a sloppy event. He's telling his supporters that Mike Pence can overturn the election. And they believe that because they believe everything Trump does. It's a slot. He didn't tell people to go into the Capitol, but he set people up by just being a selfish leader. It's all about me. Let's go to the Capitol and just, make a scene. But he had no aim. Half the people at the Capitol thought Trump was going to be elected. They had this pipe dream. I know people that like Trump that were like, I want to go. He's going to get elected. You have to have faith. I'm 100% sure. I mean, most of the people at the Capitol were like, yeah, Trump's going to win. So it's not like he told people to go to the Capitol, but as a leader, he played right into his opponent's hands, lost, sacrificed half his base, and then just kept walking. It's like, if you keep worshiping someone like that, you're going to keep losing. Someone said disagree. Cool. That's fine. You can disagree. I don't care. Read a few more. Someone said, you don't think the election was stolen? ? I think Trump ruined it when he shut the country down in March. You shut the country down. If you want to complain about the election machines, here, have you ever thought of this? Did you know the election machines, if you go back to the Dick Gregory election when he ran, they malfunctioned 40 or 50 years ago? So when Trump won in 2016, he didn't have a problem with the machines then. He talked about the machines when Mitt Romney won. So Trump knew about them, didn't complain about them in 2016 because he won, didn't complain about them in 2018. Everybody else knew about them. And all of a sudden, he only cares after 2020 when he locks the country down. Mass mail-in ballots. Why were there mass mail-in ballots? Because of Trump. I don't feel bad for him because of mass mail-in ballots. He locked the country down. He extended the lockdown. He complained about Sweden. He complained about Georgia. Georgia opened up earlier than any other state at that point, and Trump got mad at them. So do I think Trump stole the election from himself by being an anti-constitutional, further left leader than Obama. I'm not going to run circles around a Moderna salesman who, sabotaged his own election. So, I mean, do I think that it was sketchy? Yeah, I do. But do I think that Trump is like this innocent victim that has no idea what's going on? No, I think he's putting on a show for everybody, to be quite honest. Someone said he did tell people to go. It will be wild. Those famous 3 words. What'll be wild? It's a sloppy event. I mean, I don't even like going on certain flyers because I see how these people operate. You want to talk about 5D chess? Yeah, go to my event and Mike Pence is going to overturn the election if we're all wild. They're like, yeah, what is that? Like, what? It's dumb leadership, but it's called selfish. He doesn't care if millions of people are locked in their house. Last year, I'm locked in my house. Hey, we're going to fly jets over your head. Oh, cool. I like jets, but like, what about freedom, Trump? Did you ever think that I'm not a slave? Like, I want to just watch an air show while I'm locked in my house, like Italy? He doesn't care. When are people going to learn this? It's okay. Thank you, Raul. I appreciate it. I got a big video to do tomorrow. I'm gonna take off. I stayed too late. Yeah, I have a good time. I appreciate it. I enjoy it, but I do want to really edit this so it's out. Someone said, "What was the story with Mike Pence?" And that, yeah, I don't want to get into all that, but Daniel said it's even worse here in Canada. Our country's going straight downhill. If America goes down, we're done for sure. Yeah, God bless you, Canada. Stay strong, and I'm great. I'm really grateful for, to be honest, local Republicans. I'm going to end on a positive note. I'm grateful for local Republicans. I'm grateful for Republican states that are opening and Republican states that are pushing back. Although I think people could have done more, I get it. I'm glad we're not Canada. No offense. I feel bad saying that with the Canadian here, but I am grateful that we are America. Thanks to DeSantis and Kristi Noem. And I mean, say what you want about them, but they showed the world that we can have events. And I think that makes America powerful. We have so many states. I drive to Arizona. Things are all open. Like it's pretty dope. So I'm glad to be in America. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. It could always be better. It could always be worse. But, I do feel blessed to be here. If things go crazy south where I'm at, I do feel like, barring a gas shortage, which would be insane, that there are areas that are just totally ignoring this stuff, unlike Canada where they seem to have a vice grip, or the UK, they seem to have more of a vice grip over the country. So I am very, very grateful. And although I critique the Republicans a lot, I don't do it to be I still will vote locally because I feel like it does make a huge difference. And Republicans always seem to, like, at least now, the Democrats have just gone insane to me. But, they play this game with us where it's like you vote and then they expect you to just shut up and act like they're doing an amazing job. But I really don't think they are. Even locally, I'd rather a Republican do a Democrat, but I'm wildly underwhelmed by the Republicans here. Even DeSantis, they're taking pictures with kids in masks behind them and people with masks. Like, I would feel embarrassed to take a picture. Like, it's a caste system. Oh, I'm breathing air and all these kids behind me I'm not taking a picture with kids in masks like that. That's like, this is the Republican Party. So I just feel like we need to be a little tougher because I'm voting this way out of survival because they're slightly better on a local level. But it's like, dude, these people need to step it up. So hopefully some stronger people run. And in general, people keep moving forward. So there's definitely some green on the horizon. I have a powerful video tomorrow, and God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, debating, arguing with me, talking, laughing, whatever. I appreciate it. It's I'm going to read Daniel's comment before I leave. This is from Canada. He said, "You guys are very lucky to be born in America. That is your systemic privilege right there. Greatest country in the world. Sad to see this happening." Thank you, Daniel. And among all the crazy stuff, I am really grateful to be here because I feel like we're leagues ahead of other countries. Appreciate it. And a few links, godblesshats.com or dreamrare.com are these hats. I have hundreds. Like, I'm just buying them by the thousands and stuff. So stay in touch with me.com for email list, t.me/dreamrarechat or dreamrarechat on Telegram. Those are the ways to stay in touch. I'm sending out an email tomorrow. I'm sending out a Telegram tomorrow. This video, I feel like, can get millions of views, and it's going to go everywhere because this little girl just tells such a good story. And I'm tying in Tito Ortiz and how they're fact checking the event with the masks and stuff. Hopefully my page doesn't get in trouble for it. I'm going to try to, make it as clear as possible. But I really feel like this is going to be one of the most powerful videos of the year because it comes directly from like a kid. And like, she's just speaking, like you could just feel the emotion where I'm like, dang, I know how evil it is what they're doing to kids, but luckily there's some great parents and they brought their kid to an event and they wanted to speak to the people and tell them their story. I think it's a smash hit. And I think this message needs to really be heard. So check back tomorrow. Even if you get mad at what I said today, whatever, share that video or check it out tomorrow if you like it. I think it's going to be a big hit. God bless you guys. Have a good day. And thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully I wasn't too annoying.